afternoon, evening, or morning to everyone wherever you are in this wide world. My name is Carla Winhall, and I'm your host of Quantum Conversations. What is Quantum Conversations podcast? Well, that's a good question that anyone's going to ask when they first start hearing this. I have really focused my life on learning about the inner workings of people and how they do things and what drives them and what makes them happy, what makes them sad, and what makes them do what they do in life. So Quantum Conversations is a highly consumable podcast that's going to be available on iTunes and other media outlets. It's going to focus on the lives of people who are out there doing amazing and astounding things. Today's guest is Cheryl Jacobs. She is the owner of Kids Party Characters, and she spends her days helping entertain and make kids and their families just feel better. She's also someone who I highly respect in the area of relationships, and today she's going to talk to us about her book, she's going to talk to us about her business, and she's going to talk to us about her relationship issues that she's had on her journey to get here. So without further ado, I'm going to let Cheryl take it away.
Hi Carla, how are you tonight?
I'm awesome, thank you so much.
So yes, I started Kids Party Characters approximately 4 years ago. I worked for an agent for 2 years and just kind of went on my own. I felt he wasn't any smarter than me, so I can do it. I was the talent and the brains behind it, and said why not. And with the push of my partner in crime, and we kind of had a dream and a drive, and we put it together with 20 costumes and 2 employees, me and him. Started with 2 to 3 parties every weekend, and now we're up to 70 employees, 70 actors, and over 150 characters. Pretty much every Saturday and Sunday we're running all over New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and starting this coming Monday we are bringing it to Cleveland, Ohio. And basically we just, we go and entertain children 7 and younger pretty much, and with their favorite TV and film character. And it's a priceless business. I never thought I would be into this business. Growing up, I'm a pilot by trade. Is my beginning job before this, and I still do that. But I really, really enjoy working with small children and seeing their faces light up, and their parents who are so happy when they see how happy their children are, and it's an overwhelming, priceless feeling. It really is.
Absolutely. That's just one of those good feeling jobs that didn't really feel like a job. It feels more like an extension of your own life source happiness. So I know that you said, this is not a question that was on our itinerary, but that's okay. You just said that your former profession was in flying. Is that something that you're still passionate about today?
I am still a pilot. I've been a pilot since about 2005. I'm actually taking the company Kids Party Characters to Cleveland, Ohio this coming Monday, and I'm flying 22 costumes there myself to start the chain over there. Is the next location we're starting.
Wow, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So you and I, we met working together on your first book that you're writing now. And one of the things that I'm so passionate about is helping people to write their books and really get out that story that led from point A to point B to point C to point now. And so my next question for you is, what do you feel about writing your book? What's it called? What are you going to be writing about? And what do you hope to share with the world through this book?
Well, everything wasn't so great in the beginning. I was a young mother at 18, right out of high school. Got married and had children, and divorced at 21. And through that time, I lived through poverty. So bored that I was going to the churches to get cheese and milk to feed my children. And actually, my last days of college, I hitchhiked 50 miles both ways to finish my last days. 8 days of my college education with honors in aeronautical engineering. And, it changed my life. Shortly after that, I got divorced at 21 and And 3 months later, my mother passed away, and then a few months later, my grandmother passed away. It's probably one of the deepest, darkest time of my life. It changed me. And the words in my head were my mother saying, don't ever depend on anyone. Make sure you can stand on your own 2 feet. And that was the fuel behind me starting my first business. I started a modeling and talent agency at 23, and became very successful with it over Cleveland, and then eventually moved to Los Angeles and New York City and pursued modeling and acting, which, was one of many of my businesses, and which led to the Kids Party Characters now. I am still a pilot. I still love it. And but there was a long journey in between there. The Kids Party Characters is my 7th business venture. So it's not like I started from rich parents or a rich boyfriend or anything like that. It's a lot of hard work to where I was to where I am now.
Right, absolutely. I totally get that. I mean, as an entrepreneur myself, and as someone who has a similar background to yours, not implying that I married early, I had a child early. My husband was killed after I left him from an abusive relationship. He was killed at his job 3 days after I left, and so at the age of 21, I became a widow. So I totally understand how that you all tied up and into confusion through your life. It can lead you through patterns just left and right that are the same. But this new book that you're writing, what's the name of that?
It's Escape from the Darkness into the Enchanted.
Into the Enchanted. And so the Enchanted, I'm supposing, goes right along with what you do with your company, Kids Party Characters, because you have been on this new path that got you out of all that into something you truly, truly enjoy. So in your book, you're going to be telling us about some relationship topics. And just recently, and I want to go ahead and talk about this because I think it's very important, that what you're doing is trying to give a message to young children and girls and young adult girls that there are certain types of relationships that are deemed to be bad and that are going to cause confusion and havoc in your life. And if you're okay and good with it, I'd like to go ahead and talk about that topic right quick, and that is on narcissism. It's on a relationship issue that pops up with very vulnerable women. And tell me what's going on with that, and we'll have kind of a two-way dialogue. If you're okay with that, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I found myself, very broken up after a 10-year relationship that went bad. And I was in a very dark place, and I was alone for a good year, and I just started dating. And I ended up meeting a guy on Facebook who was the knight in shining armor in the beginning. He was like, our first date, I actually cried on his shoulder about my last relationship, and everything was nice, and he was like, let's see where this goes, no expectations. That to me meant, let's take it slow, get to know each other. To him, that meant just a physical thing and nothing more. Well, I was in a 10-year relationship. I was out of the dating game. I was, not, a player or anything like that. So it was new to me. And kind of after I started to fall for this guy, he was just all about, everything was about him, about himself, about, you make time for me, but I'm not going to make time for you. You come to see me, but I'm not going to come see you. And it was like me constantly trying to prove myself to this guy, never feeling like I was good enough. And he just tried to keep me down to that level of where I was broken. And once I started to get stronger, and he realized it, me moving on with my business, that's when the abuse started. He never, everything was about him. Everything was about, this grandiose, I'm better than everybody else. I'm surrounding myself with only people who are superior like myself. He even compared himself to the legendary Tupac the other day, like he's some legend in his own mind. And it was a very bad situation. I felt myself going into a dark place and not feeling good about myself and always trying to prove myself to this guy. And the relationships aren't supposed to be like that. They're supposed to bring the best out of you. They're supposed to make you happy. You know, love is selfless. If you find someone who's, you know, who's selfish and all about themselves, let them go. They're toxic. These people, you can't keep them around. You'll never be happy with someone like this because they'll never let you be happy, ever.
That's right, and I've studied a good bit on the social characteristics of this particular behavior in relationships, and in a narcissistic conversation can start out where one of the parties in the relationship lifts the other one high up on a pedestal in public, and then get into the quiet rooms of the private conversation and then drop you down. Like, how did you act? Why did you act like that? Why did you say that? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And these uncomfortable relationships, and the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I know that, you know, the culmination of the book that you're writing has asked you to go back and remember things that happened to you in your past, and a lot of those things started out with your childhood and different things that you were told growing up. So I want, whoever listens to this, I want you to understand the characteristics of a narcissistic relationship. It's very uncomfortable. You feel like the queen of the world when you're in that space where they're uplifting you high, but then when you're in that private conversation, it starts to feel uncomfortable when you say, what did I do? It becomes almost like punishment because you now become something that they're trying to hide away without, you have the uplifted moment and then you have the downfall moment. But these kind of relationships not only are toxic, but they can be deadly and they can turn into physical abuse later on, and then you have a woman whose soul is scarred forever. So these things are really hard to get out of. And you took a big stand by going public with it, and I'm sure that you have attracted a lot of women who've been in the same exact position as you. Have you had a lot of input on that since you came out with it?
Well, the funny thing about it is, I had a few people delete me off of Facebook, and that's fine. Everybody wants everybody to be positive, and Facebook is the whole, everybody puts out their best foot forward. Well, it's reality isn't always, roses. There is reality of abuse out there, and if I can help only one person to realize that you don't have to be in a bad situation. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be appreciated. You deserve a good life. There's good people out there. Surround yourself with them. There's no reason for you to put up with this, ever. And, if I can help one person who is like, wow, this person is really bad for me, and it gets them away from them, and they're happier the rest of their life. Life is short. You can be gone tomorrow. Don't waste your time with anyone who's not appreciative of you, who's not proud to be with you, who's not a genuine good person. Keep those people away from you. There's many people out there who will love and appreciate you.
That is so true. And performing out here in this virtual reality thing is really becoming harder and harder to show your true colors and to show who you truly are on there. And it's also very important, I think you will agree with me when I say this, that as you're getting onto a Facebook platform and as you're making these relationships virtually, even if they manifest into real life, pay attention to how you feel inside. Sometimes that wrong vibration will manifest in your stomach, like butterflies in your stomach, or something heavy in your chest, like something just doesn't feel right. And in my book, Untapped, A Soul's Journey in the Frequency of Pure Consciousness, you'll see and find that I talk about what's called an undercurrent. And we've all heard about intuition, picking up things, listening to your gut. But the undercurrent is a real intention of the relationship that you find yourself involved in. And on a virtual platform, what you see is an avatar, you see a picture, you see a profile picture picture, a cover picture. You take a step deeper into that. And if you're trying to create a relationship virtually, go into that profile, look at the pictures, look at the comments on the pictures, look at the conversation that that person's had with other people, especially if it is a romantic type of possibility. You're going to see pretty fast how this person is playing in the background, right? That's something that you kind of learned out the hard way, right?
I definitely learned that the hard way. I mean, this person that I just got out of this relationship with, his whole image is about, he's basically a fraud, because his whole image is about coaching and inspiring and positive, and behind the scenes it's a completely different world. And I even put something on Facebook: don't believe what you read on Facebook, because it's not real. It really isn't. And trust your instincts, because they don't lie.
That's true. And it's so easy to get trapped in it, though, because I know I have. I can't even tell you how many times that I have. And the best way to find out if someone's real, if you're wanting to form a relationship, whether in your business or not, is to get them on the phone. Get them on the phone first, then feel out how that conversation feels. It's a scary place to be, but a lot of people, they want to build more relationships and meet new people. You just have to, just like Cheryl said, you have to listen to your intuition and listen to your instincts and how that really feels going on. And I have been at the back end of abusive situations more times than I care to count. And because of that, I've learned how to pick out people who have low intention. They have no intention of ever really following through with a relationship. Their intentions is to just do, get what they can and then disappear out. And some of them even turn really bad. I mean, they turn really psychotic, where then you find yourself trapped in the situation. All right, so that is amazing. So going back, I want to circle back to the kids' party characters, because I want to know, at what point did you decide that this was something you wanted to do? What steps did you take to actually get your business going, started, and make it a success?
Well, when I started with another agent, he kind of just threw me into it. I did have the acting and the modeling background for many years. I was on Law and Order and Sopranos several times, several TV and film appearances. So I did have that acting behind me, but I didn't have children at the time, small children. My children were grown at that time. So he kind of just threw me into it and would get mad at me for not knowing what I'm doing. Okay, you didn't have anybody train me. And I was like, it just got to the point where I was like, okay, you're going to call and scream at me. I can't work with you. No, but you're not going to talk to me that way. You're not going to disrespect me. And then, my best friend at the time was like, you can do this. You have the business knowledge. You have the, you're the talent. You can do this. And that's when we basically said, okay, let's do this. We went online that day, and we just started ordering costumes. We started finding advertisers, just started it. And we, got right away. We started getting 2-3 parties a weekend, every weekend. We're up to about 30 now, 20 to 30 now, so we've done it.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, we've 10 times the amount. So, and, from 2 employees to 70. So, and honestly, the love of the children, when you see their faces, you can't, if I could do it for free and not make a living, I would. That's how much I love it.
You know what, I believe that, because I've been looking at all of your pictures, and I can just feel the emotion of those children coming through, and the joy on their face from having that experience. I think you just kind of, you accidentally stumbled upon something, and through a weird conversation, a weird thing, you stumbled upon something that's really, really fulfilling to you, and that's wonderful. It's such a pleasure to watch what you're doing unfold online, and I'm so excited to be supporting you on this journey. So I'm just going to let you now kind of do a free talk, and you tell the world whatever you want them to know. Tell them how they can get in touch with you and things like that.
Well, you can definitely find me on Facebook.com/Cheryl Elizabeth Jacobs. I'm also on Instagram at Cheryl E. Jacobs. kidspartycharacters.com, and you won't get me, you'll get my assistant, but, if you want to book our company, we have 56 trained actors in New York City, all in their 20s, all talented, beautiful people. I've hand-selected them and trained them myself for all these parties. I have a ton of references of people who have used our services since the beginning and used us several times. I've done my research. I found amazing, beautiful costumes. They're not cheap Party City costumes where, you're going to get beautiful gowns and Darth Vader that looks like he came right out of the movie and those kind of things. So I'm proud of my business. We're now branding it. We're taking it nationwide and hopefully international. We just got our trademark going, and that should be out, this summer, everything. So, and we're opening up in Cleveland, Ohio on Monday, the 29th. So.
That sounds fantastic, Cheryl. I'm excited to help you share your book with the world and share your business with the world and share your story with the world. Let's plan to do another one. I want to plan to do another one later on, another podcast, because I'm excited to see where you're going over the next couple of months. And so that concludes our podcast for today for the Quantum Conversation series. And this is an amazing way to just consume the content that you want by putting your headphones in and listening to this podcast from your phone. Listen to it while you're driving. Get to know Cheryl. Go find her on Facebook. If you have a party need in the Ohio or New York, New Jersey area, let her know. I'm sure that she'll deploy her team to you with a quickness. And with that being said, thank you so much. And I will talk to you later.
Thank you, Carla.